All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sapling Edition of Evergreen Perspective as we continue our Charter Candidate Review Sapling Editions. I'd like to introduce you to Cathie Garber. She's running in District 2, Position 2. Welcome to the show. We'll go ahead and just get started. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how long you've been here in Clark County?
Sure. Well, thank you, Ben, for inviting me to your podcast. I have lived in Clark County for 15 years, and in those 15 years, I have worked in local county government. I was the elections director for Clark County. I have had considerable experience with the Charter Review Commission in my capacity as elections director. I was able to review proposed charter amendments before they were placed on the ballot, looked at them for clarity, proofreading, typos, made sure timelines fit properly, and just made sure they conformed with state law. So I'm very excited about running for this position since I retired in January and that I could help the citizens of Clark County again.
Right. What's something people may not know about you outside of politics, right? You're not a career politician. You were a civil servant for all intents and purposes. So what's something that people don't know about you outside of that role?
Well, I'm a mom to one daughter and I'm a grandma to four children, and some of them have special needs, so I'm very sensitive to the concerns about children on the autism spectrum. I grew up at the coast in Gearhart, went to school in Seaside High School. Wonderful memories of growing up on the coast and just kind of that hometown feel and just, really enjoyable memories of growing up. But I moved here about 15 years ago and began my career here in Clark County.
So in your own words, can you tell us a little bit about what the Charter Review Commission actually does?
Sure. So the Charter Review Commission is made up of 15 people, 3 from each of the council districts. We elect them every 5 years. And a Charter Review Council is supposed to review the charter amendments meticulously, gather citizen input right from the beginning, and that is crucial to the success of any charter amendments, collaborate with other charter review commissioners in a respectful way so everybody gets their voices heard. We come from diverse opinions and perspectives, and we need to honor all that. But what we need to do is to promote thoughtful charter amendments that follow the guidelines of good governance. Our charter is the structure of government. It is to be written broad in scope so it does not restrict our elected officials from being able to do their job. And it is supposed to strengthen our county and not hinder it in any way. So that is really important.
So what kind of approach or perspective, if elected to the council or the commission, would you bring in order to get that citizen input?
Sure. So I go in with an open mind, but I think citizen input is crucial. So we start right away. We set up traditional appointments, same meeting time, same location, but consider some non-traditional ways too. Let's have some pop-up events, maybe at schools and parks and libraries, and let's do online events too, online surveys and polls. Have a dedicated website, use social media. There are lots of ways to get citizen input. Also have a feedback loop. So if a citizen, we can go back to the citizen, tell them how their input was used. And I think that's the crucial piece is when we gather that citizen input that we use that information from them. It's a valuable tool and we want to make sure the citizens have buy-in to this very important process or it won't be successful.
Right, so this is a nonpartisan position, but there's been a lot of partisan division, it seems, during the campaign leading up to this. In that room, when there's 14 other commissioners, there's going to be people of all political sides in this nonpartisan position. How would you handle strong, extreme partisan type of rhetoric in the commission?
I actually have quite a bit of experience handling that kind of information. Being the elections director, I had to be very nonpartisan. But we had people that were politically motivated, politically passionate from both sides that would come into the office. And I have had much experience with that. And I think it's really about actively listening to folks and trying to just give them the same respect that you would want to have, and really looking at it through the lens of good governance. But we need to listen to people.
And so when we're talking about listening to folks, what do you think it is that folks misunderstand about the charter's role in county governance?
I think that a lot of people out there believe that the charter can do everything. But it's not a catch-all. It is not designed to do everything for us. I was telling someone the other day, it's the way people are talking, they're acting like it's a junk drawer that we can throw everything into, but it's more like the structure of our house. So we need to make sure that what we do add in there builds our government going into the future. Yes, we look at things that are happening right now and see if we can resolve it through it. But if it hinders our elected officials from doing their job, that is not good governance.
All right, so with that piece, is there any particular items in the charter that you're more interested in than others, or there's some changes maybe you would like to discuss or see made?
Sure, there are a few changes that I would like to see. I think one that is really important is right now our county council, they are paid based on a part-time position because it's based on the Washington State Salary Commission for legislators who are part-time. I believe we would be best served in Clark County to pay our county council a full-time wage and expect them to be full-time. This would give more chances for other folks to run for office, maybe a younger pool, most definitely a larger pool, but more importantly, it would make our county councilors more available to us. So that is one section I would like to review. Another section is the initiative and referendum piece. Ever since we became a county home rule charter in 2014, we have never had a successful initiative. I've seen many of them try, but they don't have enough time. It's too many signatures. So I would like to see that reduced from 10% to 8% of the amount of signatures needed, along with maybe giving them more time. Instead of 120 days, give them 50 days at the beginning of the process. Another piece would be allow statistical sampling by the elections office. This is a way that the Secretary of State does it for state initiatives. Now, this process can only be used for acceptance of a petition. It cannot be the sole basis for rejection of a petition. I also think that we should consider a financial impact statement, but to be fair and balanced, it should have the chief petitioner's viewpoint of the financial impact along with the county. Another item that I would like to see worked on is right now our executive branch and our legislative branch are elected nonpartisan, but they're kind of elected in a partisan manner. And what I mean by that is if we only have two folks running for, a county council position, they will still appear on the primary and those same two go to the general. But a truly nonpartisan candidate, if there's only two, they skip the primary and go directly to the general. This would save a lot of taxpayer dollars to do it this way. Now, I still would want them be elected in an even year because turnout in an odd year election is so small. The fourth item I would like us to just talk about is the election of charter review commissioners. I think every 5 years might be too much. Since this is a structure of government, I don't think that we need to, I don't think it needs to be impacted every 5 years. So I would like to go back to 10 years, but still have a 2-year term. I think that would be more beneficial because right now you could have the charter review be elected and then in the same year have them put charter amendments on the ballot and then in their second year of term, put some more on. And then the third year, right after they leave, you could have more that would be slated to be on the ballot. And then your fourth year, nothing going on. In the fifth year, we elect charter review commissioners and start it all over. It's just a lot, and it's at a very large cost to taxpayers. So those are 4 I would like to see.
Thank you for expanding on that. I appreciate that, and I'm sure the voters do as well, getting to hear your perspective on how you see the charter. What do you think it is as a Clark County resident? What do you think people misunderstand about how the charter is implemented and it affects their daily life?
Sure. Well, for instance, there are a lot of folks running for Charter Review Commission that are talking about public safety. And absolutely, public safety is a big concern. But I will assure you that our county council does make it a priority. When we look at the fact that out of the general fund, 75% of the general fund goes to law enforcement, sheriff, jail, prosecuting attorney, juvenile justice. And the last 2 years in a row, the sheriff and jail have seen a 32% increase in their budget. So our county council does make it a priority. So I know that's very important to folks, but I do think that they're already addressing it, and I think we need to leave that out of the charter and make that something that our county council, who we've elected to do, make that their priority.
So I guess as we kind of wrap up here, I'm curious to know what is the one thing you really want voters to remember about Cathie and her role for the Charter Commission?
Well, I think that's maybe not even so much me, but just understand that it's more about the people running government and less about the structure of government. We need to get people into this office that are looking at it through the lens of good governance and not a political agenda. And I would bring that to this commission. I'm very nonpartisan. I want to help the citizens of Clark County, but I also want to make sure our government works effectively. And with my experience and knowledge, I think I would do a good job of that, and I would be honored to have citizens in District 2 their vote.
So tell people where they can learn more about you and your campaign.
They can go to my website at Cathie for Charter Review, and Cathie is spelled Cathie, and then spell out for charterreview.com. They can find out some information there. I also have a Facebook page, Elect Cathie Garber, and they can find some information there too. And I'm always happy to take phone calls. My phone number is 503-567-4938, and I'm always happy to talk to citizens.
Great. We appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on the show and letting us and the voters know what you're about and how you plan to represent the charter. So I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.